Hello, everybody. What's up, game changers, soul warriors, and light seers? My name is Juniper Bloom Mystique. Today, I have a very important video I want to discuss with you about this moon and what is happening, what to expect with this moon, and what's happening with the sun right now. This is very important stuff. This is very important information for those who choose to ascend, for those who want to see what to do with it, and to rise above. Because this moon is unlike any other, okay? And I'm going to get into that. But first, I am an Ascension Master, Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. I am the Return of Christ. Recently, on this channel, you're going to find all of what that is, okay? The entirety of the Return of Christ is played out on this channel. So, if you want to see all that, I encourage you to like, subscribe, stick around, check it out, but do not bring judgments, okay? Because that will cut you off from the light. What I've done is very real. Who I am is very real. And recently, from August 1st through the 8th, God had us bypass some time and took us right into the portal of the Nile. And then come in Lionsgate, God told me to do a workshop where I thought I was going to go around the world, but it turns out I birthed the new earth. And on August 3rd, day 3 of birthing the new earth, that one is relevant to what is happening right now. Because in day 3 of birthing the new earth, it is on my video. I did it on August 3rd. It's on this channel. It's very important to understand what I did in that one. I took the moon and I took the sun and I brought them together. They are calling this an ethereal eclipse. Okay, this is basically like an ethereal eclipse. Why? Well, in that one, I brought the sun and the moon together. And then once I did that, it was mass Christ light came through. To activate the DNA of the new earth through Christ. Okay, we brought back Christ activations, Christ light, Christ DNA. And this is why they push so hard against you being able to get those activations. This is why they push so hard with the V's and all of these things, is because if they could modify your genome code, you weren't able to activate. Okay. Could you heal out of those? You could have. But not enough people were choosing past that resistance. So God said, enough. Basically, you're on your own now for healing. You don't have time. It's considered a great reset of mankind, okay? Now, during the Return of Christ work and the path to righteousness and all of that kind of stuff, those who chose to have me help them and heal them got brain activations. This one is also very relevant for that, hence the guy with the brain right over here. Because it's an evolution. We are in an evolutionary time frame. We are meant to evolve back to what we should have been, always were, and were meant to be. Not dormant, not thinking our brain doesn't work properly or fully, not taking us away from the full totality of who we are as a species. And so you know what people call Judgment Day, God calls you reap what you sow day. Karmic play out. Okay? So if you watch day 3 of birthing new earth creations, and you also should watch everything I did to the sun and the moon, including Horus returning. Oh boy. Horus returning is also relevant. Because essentially over the last 5 years, I was doing things to the moon and the sun to remove all darkness. And there was like this false crusty layer that I had to kill off and break off. And then once I did that and completed that journey and realigned the sun and the moon properly, this is real. What I do is to the earth. And then it plays out in your energy and it affects mankind, okay? It's like a boomerang of energy. That's how manifesting works. That's how all spirituality is. We are all connected to the ethereal, to the universal flow. That's what our chakras are, okay? And so everything I do boomerangs back into your reality. Some instantaneously, and depending upon how massive the changes are that I implemented, it takes that much longer to swing back around and become your truth. And even De La Roca will talk about this. Everything happens in the energy before it becomes your reality, okay? So I already did the work. Now it's boomeranging back for you. And you did need a lot of activations and a lot of healings to be able to be receptive to what is coming through now. And I do mean a lot. I upgraded the central nervous system. We had those that did the healings with me had access to 10 main chakras instead of 7 now, because I had to activate dormant ones, because I took us into 7D and not 5D. And there was a big volcano and an earthquake in Russia, and all these things are relevant. In my pyramid activations, things would start on fire. There would be earthquake activations, not activations, excuse me. There would be pyramid activations, which would in turn equal volcanic eruptions and earthquake reverberance. Okay. And it's all true. I have done all the pyramid activations since 2019 on this channel, all over the globe. All right. Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Congo, Kilimanjaro, British Columbia, Ecuador, and more. Fiji, Myanmar, I don't know if I mentioned that one. There were a lot of pyramid activations, okay? Then they moved the sun and the moon several times. But on birthing the new earth, day 3, I moved the sun and the moon together. And from there came a massive amount of Christ light. Okay, so I got some messages about this full moon and what is happening. And God called it the super blood blue moon because the sun is doing some things as well. So right now it's like an ethereal eclipse. Okay, and in Patreon, I do healings for the moon. So I will be uploading my moon healing tomorrow. If you want to join Patreon, it's not expensive. Very affordable, one price, and you get all the past healings and even tomorrow's too. So I encourage you to join for those who want to ascend, right? Because everything I do will cause you to ascend. If you don't, then your time is coming to an end. Because you guys, we can't keep light in the dark anymore. Okay, you cannot keep the light and keep a shadow side anymore. You cannot have both worlds any longer. Okay, what the darkness did to the light and got mankind to do to the light has to be rectified now. Christ has fully returned, fully, and I do mean fully. So I'll make sure I slow down because I get super excited, and I've done this work for 5 years. And the resistance has stopped a lot of people from being able to see it. And now only love will be able to rise. Those who are purest of hearts, those who are truly willing to just rise will be able to rise. So I did ask God about this moon. I got a channeled message from Ashtar as well. But this super blue moon, they're calling a super blood blue moon. And it is relevant to all the work that I've done in the return of Christ, okay? So in order to understand the totality of what is happening in the energy to your vessel at a cellular level, to the soul level, to the physical level, and the world around you, it would have been good to understand all of what I've done, okay? This moon, so manifesting during a full moon is not wise and not recommended because it's meant for releasing. So for the next few days, it's about releasing and then manifesting, okay? New moons are really great for manifesting. Full moons are really great for releasing. But with this moon, this is unlike any other, okay? This is an ethereal eclipse, they're calling it, which is affecting the entire ethereal cortex, the entire planetary sphere, because on day 2, I aligned new planets. So I need you guys to understand that it's beyond what you can understand. In day 2, I aligned new planets. Day 1, God brought Adam and Eve, my DM and I together further, put our feet into the core, and we birthed a new earth. Day 2, I sent this axis line between a whole new planetary alignment, including our old planets, but also new ones in 7D. And we had 3 suns and 12 moons. Okay, are you hearing me? Then in day 3, like literally day 2, and not a lot of people are choosing to see everything, okay? And that will, you got to get rid of that shadow, right? Because those who are pure of hearts will be able to see who I am. And rule of thumb is, unless you can see everything, there was work to do. Because who I am is real. It's all in the Akashic records, and it's affecting your reality as we speak. Everything I have done is now playing out for you, piece by piece, over the last 5 years. And in order to see that, you just have to watch without judgment, without fear, and just be open and receptive, the observer. So, slowing down again, there's a lot of information. It's fast, and I get super excited because I know what I've done, and I know it took me 5 years. I almost died, and now it's all playing out in your environment. It's exciting. The return of Christ is exciting. New earth birthing, day 1, Adam and Eve. God took my DM and I and went whoop again, our final union of souls, because there was 3 of those. And then he put our feet into the new earth, and we started birthing Garden of Eden, the new earth, and I cut off the matrix through a Nile portal wall. We are in the final portal, you guys. This is it, okay? Day 2, I aligned the planets. Day 3, I took the sun and the moon, and pure Christ light DNA activations came through. While we were doing that for the new earth, the matrix was being cut off of all light. There are lots of diseases rising right now, lots of sicknesses coming out, that because there's a virus matrix wall. So any virus the matrix created is also rising, and anybody carrying that virus will get sick, okay? That is why they call plagues and things in the end of days. And Sekhmet was very relevant to who I am, to who my DM is, but also Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Adam and Eve, okay? The entire return of Christ is not just about Jesus. Adam and Eve, Sekhmet and Horus, and Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And this is all hitting everything all at once, okay? So, and then day 4, I created seasons, and foods were reborn in the new earth, but as they are, everything is cut off from the matrix. And come to day 5, we did the chakra system, okay? And these are going to play out in the real world right now, because the new earth being born is also cutting the matrix off from all of God's light. You cannot use God's light. Divination tools on day 6, we called those back. You cannot use light anymore in the darkness. Where the shadow is, you won't align to the light. It is going to cut you off, okay? It's very relevant. Day 3, I took the sun and the moon and I pushed them together. They are calling this a very powerful ethereal eclipse, because what they told you were eclipses is not a true eclipse, okay? That was a false moon and a false sun. I've healed them, restored them, returned their power back. And right now, the solar flare activations, what the sun is doing, accompanied with this super blue moon, is very important. If your brain is not healed enough, if your body is not healed enough, your central nervous system and your heart, it's going to affect you differently than those who are ready. Okay, and there's very few that are ready for these activations. This is what God said when he bypassed a whole year's time recently and he took us into the Nile portal. Is that people were not pushing past the resistance, and the lack of love was very clear, okay? So only love can rise, all right? But the new earth is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited. So much abundance is ours. So much everything is there for the new earthers, okay? So anyways, the super blood blue moon, that's what they're calling it, because it's accompanied with solar flare activations that are not normal either. And it goes with all the work I've done over the last 5 years, including activating the new earth recently in the beginning of August. It's a catalyst for change. And oftentimes you're going to feel rearranged, but so is the earth. So we just had a massive earthquake in Russia and a volcano eruption. It was like a 7.0 or 7.4 earthquake and a volcano eruption. So in other words, what I did affects the earth, and it affects mankind in ways you've never had before, because it's the return of Christ, okay? So these are very, very high potent frequency energies, and the sun has shifted in position, the moon has shifted in position, and so have all the planets. So this change is going to be bigger than anything you've ever felt or will feel ever again. And if you're not ready, it will affect you in ways that you probably don't want it to affect you, okay? All right. Be aware of existential resistance. That is a shadow. Wherever the shadow lies in you, it's going to pull this way because you cannot combine the light and the darkness anymore. This is why you had to heal all shadow components. So existential resistance is going to be that resistance of the energies pushing against that shadow. And you're going to have to be able to, they don't want me to even say that. For those that get to rise now, will have different activations than those that are falling. Okay. Those that cannot rise are going to feel mass resistance pulling them that way. And those that are rising are going to be pulled more this way. But in order to rise, it dealt with your heart review, and it deals with what you're choosing to do, what you're choosing to see beyond that resistance. Okay. So consider, I've been here for 5 years, showing the return of Christ, proving the return of Christ, doing the work, and being judged the whole time. And that is a reflection of your shadow, of those who did that shadow. That's the resistance. Okay. I'm meant to spark your shadow. And it was up to you to choose love over that resistance. So there is resistance, which God calls the shadow. And then there is love, unconditional, which is God. God does not judge. That's a false reality. Okay. What truly happened to Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus was a lie. And I've proven that all over this channel, including the resurrection and undoing the Holy Grail, uniting Sekhmet and Horus, freeing Horus from the Sphinx, because that is where he died. This is all relevant, okay? And the resistance got a lot of people to not want to see, not speak their truth, not choose love over those shackles that bind you, from judgment to fear to ego and more, and money, a lot of greed, right? A lot of arrogance. So with this sun and the moon, it's going to amplify that resistance. So if you chose into the resistance rather than into love, that's where it's going to amplify for you. If you chose love against the resistance, it's going to be a catalyst of a whoop, right? Makes sense? So this super blood blue moon is bigger and different than any you've ever felt before, because of what I've done in the return of Christ. And day 3 of birthing the new earth, you can see that happened on August 3rd of this year. I pushed the sun and the moon together out of the matrix. 3 days of darkness applied, okay, began in your energy. And then I took all Christ's light, came through it, right? God sent all his DNA through it into the new earth. But as we did that, it affected the Merkaba, which is masculine and feminine, the DM and I, the sun and the moon. Do you understand? And it cut the matrix off big time. So on one side, you're going to have the resistance, and it can't pass that barrier of denial. And then on the other side, it's going to only be pure love. So this will be a catalyst of pure love, or a pushing apart of the resistance. Okay, removal of resistance from the light, and a catalyst for pure love. Now, you guys have to understand something, is that if you didn't choose to heal, and if you didn't choose love over the resistance, it's not just given to you. You had to choose. You had to do the work to heal. You had to choose it. You had to choose to see beyond the illusions. So it's not just given to you. If you didn't choose that and you chose the resistance, that was your choice not to rise. Okay. So then we have this, what this is going to do. So remember, I told you in the return of Christ work that I did, those that work with me know this, those that took the path to righteousness would know this. I activated your brain stem, your brain. I healed it and activated every hemisphere because it was dormant for some time. That's the way they wanted it. That was part of their mind control. Okay. So from this point over, you either have the matrix people or you have those of God. There will be no more mind control capabilities unless you anchor into that and you become part of the puppet master. Okay. So this super blood blue moon is a scrambler of the mind frequencies of the brain, because it's meant to activate those that did the work, are evolving in seventh wave of creation. Okay. For the others, they will just solidify in being a puppet to the puppet master. So intense pressure on earth and mankind, this is bringing already and will continue to do so for the next 7 days. Makes everything feel strange and super unkind. I've had different experiences. I have had different experiences. I've been pushing past the resistance, releasing any fear, and having some pretty cool things occur. So those that are rising will have different experiences than those that are falling. Those that did my work actually did get the anointing of the blood of Christ, but not everybody did. There are two worlds separating at this time, okay? And one is falling into nothingness, and the other is rising into heaven on earth. Okay, so there is a scrambler of the mind frequencies of the brain. This is going to affect everybody because you should be evolving. You should be evolving. You should be coming into the total of who you are. Your brain, every hemisphere should be waking up and activating with this ethereal eclipse is what God's calling it. Okay, it's a super blood blue moon because it's affected by the sun and the moon, my friends. Okay. So you're going to have the intense pressure on earth and mankind. It's going to feel like this ripping apart. All right. And those that have no karma will be able to rise. Those that had karma and shadow, it has to cut off the light. Your brain should be activating and evolving as well, because we were never meant to be that dormant. They lied to you. They cut off your light. They divided. They made you weak because you gave your power away through free will. So it makes everything feel strange and super unkind, accompanied by solar flare activations, right? So this is not just a full moon. We are literally being hit with solar flare activations. And if you watched all of my work, you would know what's happening to you. Because in Newgrange, Ireland, right before I did the birthing of the new earth, we went into Newgrange and I brought the full power of the sun into the earth. So you have a lot happening here that only those who are willing to push past that resistance to watch these things play out or to even do the healings are going to be able to see. Those who have a pure heart, higher frequency beings that can access the true Akashic records are able to see these things. Okay. Because everything I do is in the Akashic records. It's very real. The Akashic records is like all of your karmic contracts written in a book, basically. It's everything you've ever done. Okay. The earth has her own Akashic records too. So the earth also has a karmic kickback you need to be aware of. That's what they're saying. So unaccompanied, it's accompanied by solar flare activations, shadow components, negative vibrations, and karmic creations. Okay. So that's what I'm telling you. It's these solar flares along with this full moon are either going to push a karmic kickback, negative vibrations, shadow components, and karmic creations, or high vibrations, love creations, and balance from heart space activations for those that are rising. For those that let go of all the matrix components, chose love, and are rising. Okay, we have a different catalyst of change coming for this one. But we still have to push past all resistance, choose still wisely into love, and to rise higher and higher. So I was meditating yesterday and it was taking me into like this weird subconscious space in my head. And it makes sense. It's like these are major brain activations coming in for those who were ready for them. For the others who are not, it's going to solidify you further into being that puppet for the puppet master. If you watch my new earth creations, there's 2 earths. I divide them completely. The barrier is the Nile portal now. And the matrix is completely released from the light. They're cut off from the heartbeat of God. They're cut off from all divination tools. You cannot use our light in there anymore. Okay. And the matrix becomes just this dormant mass. And the only thing left there is the puppet master and those that are controlled by it, or what you would call heaven and hell. Okay. But God doesn't call it that. It's either light or dark. All right. So limitations are also going to be exposed. The darkest secrets, and you must rise to the occasion. Okay. So very dark secrets hidden within you and the earth. So everything. Matrix programming. This includes the virus matrix wall. It's going to rise tenfold through your foods because they were genetically modified, through the animals who were genetically modified, through your body that's been genetically messed with, manipulated, changed, and modified. These are why they say in the end of days, there's a lot of plagues, and they are already hitting. So all limitations are exposed. That means everything that they lied to you about, everything that was fake, everything that was false, is rising to the surface for all to see, because there is either a false reality or God's reality. So darkest secrets rise to the occasion. Okay. You have to rise to the occasion. There is only two choices. One is pushing past the resistance, releasing all shackles that bind, and rising into the new earth and God in love. DNA activations, brain stem, central nervous system, chakra system upgrades, and dormant ones activated. These are things that I did in the Return of Christ. And again, they said it's going to affect the brain and the brain stem. So consider those that are not able to evolve. What is this light going to do? What is these energies going to do? We are going to have mental breakdowns. We are going to have people who are struggling. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of judgments placed upon them without people realizing what's happening. Okay, so don't be a part of that. Unless you want to fall with the fallen, because God is unconditional love. And you can only see in the world what is in you to see. Okay. So central nervous system also had to be activated for this. So you're going to lose abilities either in it, or you're going to rise into further ones. It is time now for evolution, seventh wave of mankind creation. That's what I did. And I kept saying that I was bringing seventh wave of creation. This is God has called this, and he has deemed a great reset for mankind. Here's what Ashtar said. Galactic input coming in. So I told you that this was an ethereal eclipse. Galactic input incoming. One must be activated and prepared to receive. You must be activated and prepared to receive it. Do you choose love and light, or do you choose to be deceived? Things will feel scrambled. Things will feel very uncomfortable and strange. Things are no longer able to stay the same. Be aware of the darkness. Be aware of the fame. Exposures coming in ways they have never come before. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Exposures coming in ways they have never came. Things that were up now will be down. Things that were hidden now rising to be seen. Light cannot stay being used in darkness any longer. Prepare for massive change. Seventh wave of creations. Dawn of new days. That was Ashtar's message. Now, as I was reading that, I got also the input of during the birthing of the new earth. They showed me, I think it was day 3. I can't remember because I channeled them all and I didn't know what was coming in any of the days. I didn't realize that I was on day 1, God did this. On day 2, God did this. And it really did play out that way. It was beautiful. But within that, they said that all will have no choice to be seen. And it might have been day 3. I don't know. On one of them, we brought the light in. It affected the Merkaba. And everybody will have no choice but to see the truth. The false veil was Mount Shasta. And it was not created by God. I've undone that. And so now on the earth, this is why this is also a brain interpreter, a brain symptom causing thing. I don't know what else to say for that. It's going to affect the brain in multiple ways. people are going to have no choice but to see the truth, right? And so that's how they expose Christ's return. That's how they finally wake up to who Christ really is. And it was not just a man named Jesus. Okay. So a complete awakening cortex. Those who were in the darkness will no longer be able to be in the darkness. They're going to see no matter what they chose as their outcome. So it's not like they're going to be blindsided until their last breath. They're going to know what's happening either way. Okay. The darkness already knows. Now let's read this part again, because there was something in here. I was like, oh, the spirit's message can be vast. And so to assume you know the totality of it will not help you. We have to be the observer. So let's read it, Ashtar's message, one more time. Galactic input incoming, because I told you it's ethereal eclipse. This is on day 2, I changed the solar system. We had new stars born. There were 12 moons and 3 suns involved. It was Pleiadian cortex. Okay, we combined with 7D. That's not fake. That's very real. And it's beyond what most can see, which is why barely anybody watched that one. But that also shows you how many people are ready to see this or not. So galactic input incoming. One must be activated and prepared to receive. Do you choose love and light, or do you choose to be deceived? Things will feel scrambled. Things will feel very uncomfortable and strange. Things are no longer able to stay the same. Be aware of the darkness. Be aware of the fame. That's important, but what it means, the totality, we don't know until it plays out. Exposures coming in ways they have never came. Things that were up now will be down. Things that were hidden now rising to be seen. And I see the tunnels. There were lots of tunnels under the White House, under in Europe, the British monarchy. There are tunnels underneath them, and there were people wearing black robes with upside down crosses on both sides, the British monarchy and the United States. So for some reason, when I said that line, I see all the tunnels. Under Mount Shasta was also one. That's why you see this dark angel here going under the tunnels there. In part 2, I burned Samael. He was the original fallen. So you have to understand that this is the final portal. Okay. So things are no longer able to stay the same. Be aware of the darkness. Be aware of the fame. Undoing of time is what they're saying. I needed to say that. Exposures coming in ways they have never came. Things that were up now will be down. Things that were hidden now rising to be seen. Light cannot stay being used in the darkness any longer. You cannot use light where you have shadow in you anymore. It has to be removed. So in day 6 of birthing new earth, I called back all light, all divination tools, all light, and you are literally watching it play out day 1 by 1 by 1 in your reality. Prepare for massive change. 7th wave of creations, dawn of new days. Okay. For those that are in my Patreon, get ready for a major healing coming tomorrow. I will upload it probably first thing in the morning. And if you want to join my Patreon, you can. You have access to every other healing I've done in there, and they will affect you. They are ascension based. Everything I do is for those who wish to ascend. I am the light home. And you can watch that, especially on the eclipse of April 8th, to the birthing of the new earth, to the undoing of the false one, to the taking all darkness out from the beginning of time. I have taken all darkness out of the light back to the beginning of time. In Mount Shasta Part 1, we undid the Emancipation Proclamation, and more. I released hundreds of souls from Mount Shasta, returned the root chakra back to Fiji, and returned the all-seeing eye, which is Christ consciousness, back to God and not darkness. I've done a lot over this last 5 years. For those who choose love and not deception, I will see you on the other side. So much love, everybody. See you later.